My name is Dáithí Sproule, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about the oral history project that was done for the McKiernan Library with a grant from the Minnesota Historical Society. And the way I would look at the project is that for many years, even in Ireland, back in Ireland, I was thinking that there hadn't been enough work done giving musicians and dancers and people involved in traditional culture enough opportunity to talk comfortably and at length about their lives and their art forms. And in the case of when I used to think of it in Ireland, of course, part of the issue was that elders were not interviewed until it was too late. They were gone and we'd lost all that history. So anyhow, to move along to my time in Minnesota, when I first came here 40 years ago, or more, a bit more than 40 years ago, for a visit the first time to play music, there was already a vibrant scene here in the Twin Cities, people playing Irish traditional music at a great level, and also a very active dance scene. It was very impressive and wonderful, and that had a lot to do with me settling happily in the Twin Cities. And so the idea in recent years then was, well, maybe we should give the people who were involved, the crucial people, the people who were involved in the early period, an opportunity to tell their stories. And this was something Brian Miller was also very interested in. And so we talked about it for a while, and eventually he applied for a grant and we got going. And we assembled a list of 13 people who we knew were important to the history of traditional music and dance in the Twin Cities. And we got a nice recorder and a mic, and we assembled our list, and every now and again the both of us, or just me myself, would get together in a comfortable setting and talk at length. Often the conversations were 2 or 3 hours. And the story, as far as our narrators are concerned, the one with the earliest information, of course, was Martin McHugh, who is our elder statesman and our inspiration here in the Twin Cities for great traditional music. Martin came here in the 50s and from Ireland, and he's a great, wonderful accordion player. And then he hung out with the people who'd come out before him playing Irish music, and then he kept the flag flying, and he inspired next generations who came along. And so that was the story that we were assembling, as it were, through all these different conversations. And it really was wonderful, and for me, being involved with it, a tremendous gift to get to listen to everybody's story. Martin McHugh, of course, was fantastic. He almost told a minute-by-minute story of his arrival in the Twin Cities and what happened. For the first few days were brought to life in great detail. And then the people who came after them, the Tom Dahill, had wonderful stories, and then the Northern Star Katie Band, Ploughing the Stars people, and the dancers Jenny Bach and Sheila Jordan told some of the story of dance in the Twin Cities. And I did the interviews, and then I transcribed them, and that added an extra dimension to the whole business, because I appreciated even more how well they told their stories and how fascinating the whole business was. And to mention Martin again, it was like a very fine piece of writing when you just transcribed what he had said. So all this is available. All these people's stories are available online through the Celtic Junction and Owen McKiernan Library, and it's well worth checking out. Another part of it that ended up happening was that we got photos. People contributed photos of those early years, from the 50s to about 90 was the theoretical timeline. And of course everybody was digging out their old photos, and that was fantastic. And Brian Miller assembled them and went through them, and we had an exhibition at the junction, and then so the photos were displayed, and then we had a kind of conversation / concert with some of the people who'd been participating. But it was wonderful that evening to before the concert happened, or before whatever that was, a concert talk show happened, people were coming in, and we had plenty of time for people to walk around and look at the photos. And there were people who didn't know this history at all. But then it was just delightful to see people who had been involved in the history going along and seeing all these old photos of them 30 and 40 years ago, and reminding them of wonderful times. But it isn't, the whole point of it is that, for me anyhow, it's not just a celebration of the past. It's a celebration of the fact that we have this continuity, that the things that were happening there then were enriching a soil that is still very, very rich. And we're so delighted to have all these great musicians of all ages, and dancers, wonderful dance scene. And so if you have never gone and checked out the Oral History Project online, I'd strongly recommend it. So those are just a few words to introduce you to the whole thing, and I hope you check it out and enjoy it. All the best.